Hey, I'm Kate from Project Patterns, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a beautiful swishy dress like this one with a lovely gathered frill on the bottom. This month my topic over on Project Patterns Instagram is all about silhouettes. So this is our first silhouette, lovely A-line swishy dress, and I've got a couple more coming for you over the month, so keep an eye out for them. If you want to be one of the first to know about it, hit like and subscribe. And you can follow me on Instagram at Project Patterns. You can also find all of my online courses, all of my live classes, and loads of blog posts over on my website, www.project-patterns.co.uk. Right, so let's get stuck in. Let's take a look at the design to start us off. You can see it's a lovely wide A-line dress. We have no darts anywhere, and we have this lovely gathered frill onto the bottom. And the back is the same. Again, lovely A-line shape, no darts, all this lovely volume through here, and our gorgeous gathered frill. Now, I've chosen to twirl this in a pleated fabric. I think it's called a plissé, I believe, with this type of pleat. But you could do this in a flat fabric as well. I just thought this was really fun and soft and swishy, and I kind of was feeling the Christmas vibe, so I went for something a little sparkly. But yeah, you could do it in any kind of fabric, any calico, viscose, you could do it in a lightweight cotton as well, you could do it in a satin, would be really lovely, do some nice beading that would really elevate it to like evening wear. But you can really take this design and make it your own. You can make it really casual, or you can make it really dressy. So we're going to use our basic bodice block for this. I'm going to do it in half scale, and first thing we're going to do is take our darts, rotate them into the hem, convert them to fullness. Then we're going to elongate our pattern and then draft our frill. So let's take a little look at how we draft that pattern. So let's first think about some dimensions. So this block is obviously just my waisted fitted block. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to be a more loosely fitting style, more flared. Then I'm going to add on some length. Now in full scale, I want the length of my dress from my waist to be 50 centimeters. And of that 50 centimeters, I want 20 of that to be my frill that I'm going to create. So that means in full scale, my waist to seam length is going to be 30 centimeters. This is half scale, so let's half that. So my waist to seam is going to be 15 centimeters. Remember that figure because we're going to come back to it. But to start with, we want to change this fitted block into a looser flared block. All I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate my horizontal bust dart into my waist dart and then convert them to fullness. Then I'm going to add a little bit extra onto my side. I'm going to keep my armhole and my shoulder where they are, but I am going to bring my neck down to a little V here. Now I'm not going anywhere close to the bust, it's just going to be a little curved V going down to here somewhere, so I don't need to really contour that. So first of all, let's think about that waist shaping. I'm going to use pivoting to rotate this. Then at my side here, I'm going to add 2 centimeters and bring that to nothing at my armhole here. Then we said we want to lengthen this by 15 centimeters. So at my center front, I'm going to lengthen that on the angle my center front's already drafted at, down to 15 there. Then at my side seam, again, I'm also going to lengthen that on the angle of my new seam that I drew in there, down to 15 there. Then just to help me draw that line in nice and smoothly, I'm going to draw a curved line here between what was my dart legs. And then I'm going to measure down from there 15 centimeters at a couple of points so that I can join these together. Now, of course, we want a nice squared corner here at our center front, so I'm going to draw that in as a little guideline. Then I'm simply going to connect the dots. Lovely. So this is now our flared dress for our front. Let's quickly make that little V point here. I'm going to come down by about 3 centimeters and then draw that as a nice curved shape going into our neckline here, into that original shoulder point there. Great, now let's have a little think about what we want to do on the back. So here is my back. I'm going to keep my shoulder dart here because the upper section of my bodice, or dress rather, is still fitted, so I need that dart. This dart though, I'm going to convert into fullness. Now our front, you can see, is quite flared. So what we're going to do is we're going to lengthen this, and then we're going to add extra width through the hem so that we get an equal amount of fullness at the front and back. There's no point having a super full dress at the front and then it being really slim at the back. It'll just look a little bit mean and out of balance. So I've already traced my back here. I've not bothered tracing my dart because we're going to get rid of that, but I have marked my back waist at my centre back and at my side seam. Now at my side seam here, I'm also going to add my 2 centimetres there. And then I'm going to extend my centre back down by 15 centimetres down to there. And then what we could do is draw that in, and you can see if I place my ruler to there and my underarm point there, it is quite mean when we put it next to our front, right? This width here is much smaller than this width here. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on top of my front and trace through that hemline and side seam position. So putting my centre back and centre front over one another. And you can see when I lay these over each other, matching them at my hem point, that my underarm points don't sit level. You can see here, my back underarm points here and my front underarm points here. So if I simply trace this on, then my back side seam is going to be much shorter than my front side seam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift these up a little bit until my underarm points are sitting level with each other. And then I'm going to trace on that hem shape. So we're going to get a little bit of extra length at our back. And then I know that that's my M point there. Then if I turn this to the right side, I'm going to retrace that through. And you can see we've gained about 2 centimetres at our hem here. Now if you don't want that extra length, you can redraw that. It's coming to nothing here, but it's not actually a bad thing to have extra length in our centre back. Personally, I quite like it when my hems are a little unlevel. Then from that point there, I'm going to connect it up to my underarm point. And that is going to be my back there. Putting these next to each other, we can see we have our front and our back. Now what we want to do is create our hem. So let's have a quick measure and see how big that seam is. Okay, so they are both 20.1 as we would expect because we traced one off the other. Now think about the ratio of your frill. I'm going to go for a 2-to-1 ratio, which means I'm going to have twice as much volume in my frill as I do here at my seam. So if I want to do a 2-to-1 ratio frill, I'm going to take my finished seam measurement, my flat seam, and I'm going to times it by 2. So this means that my frill is going to be 40.2 centimetres long. We already know the height of our frill. We said in full scale it would be 20 centimetres, so in half scale it's going to be 10 centimetres. So all I'm going to do is draft a rectangle that measures 40.2 by 10. Okay, so here is my rectangle, remember 40 by 2 by 10, or 40.2 by 10 rather. Now you can see I've got my grain line on here and I've also got this arrow along the top edge, and on that arrow I'm going to write gather to 20.1 centimetres. Now we need 4 of these, right? Because we need 1, 2, and then we need 2 for the other half of our dress. So this is our frill, and it's cut for self. For our top half of our dresses, this is my back, and it's cut 1 pair self. This is my front, and it's also cut 1 pair self. Lovely. So now I'm just going to add some seam allowance and then we can cut these out. Okay, so this is my pattern all cut out and ready to twirl. I'm going to stitch this up and you'll see in a minute what it looks like when it's made up on the mannequin. So once we've twirled her up, this is what she looks like. Lovely and swishy, just like you saw at the beginning of the video. When you're adding in lots of volume like this to a pattern, it's really important that you double check your balance of your garment, because it's really easy to slightly upset the balance of your pattern. You know, when you're converting those darts and slashing in that volume, it just happens, it's normal. And you can see that on mine, my side seam is slightly at an angle, so I would need to adjust that for my next twirl slightly, just straighten that out a little bit, just a smidge, just take a little bit off the back and add it onto the front there. You might also find that your front is quite a bit shorter than your back. That's a common balance issue. It might look something a little bit more like this, where you have some drag lines going down your body. That again is a balance issue that you would just need to have a little tweak about. But here, this is totally fine because everything is hanging straight. And remember, we drafted this slightly longer at the back, so we do have that slight little dip in the hem there, which is really beautiful. So I would love to see if you guys give this a go. I'd love to see what fabrics you pick and how you decide to design this. If you have enjoyed this video, please comment below, like and subscribe to my channel, and then you'll be the first to know about any new videos that come out. If you want to share your work with me, if you give this a little go, you can find me on Instagram. I'm at Project Patterns, and you can find all my online courses, all my live courses, all my blog posts. You can buy tools, all loads of fun things over on my website, www.project-patterns.co.uk. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.